the bar, if somebody come out of their cell house with a blade this long and go to warn on a police officer, then that makes it difficult for everybody. You know, so we ain't only should be trying to reach the police because believe me, if you've been in, he's been in there, and you know how it is when the bars roll. You don't know who's coming out today. You know, yesterday y'all could have been smiling and shaking hands, and somebody done said something overnight that you don't even know about. And then without checking facts, they just come out and get it. This is what they got to deal with. So what I'm trying to say is this: let's not only focus on the system changing, but let's focus on trying to get some of those people in the system to change. Because the more they change on the inside, the better it'll be for them on the inside. But that's the whole point about being in prison. You can't get everybody on the same page, you know, because everybody's situation is not the same way. I might have somebody out there supporting. He ain't got nobody. So his grind is what he can get off the land in the system. So whatever it's going to take from that is taken from this place. You know, so these are the type of things that I feel that we should also focus on when we go further down this road. Because I don't know how many people have been in situations where you got somebody that got a knife or gun and you ain't got nothing. All you got is just, I hope I can survive this, you know. And that's what, you know what I'm saying, that if we can also focus on trying to reach our loved ones in there, because some of them do, but it's hard, because you got little youngsters in there that ain't got no mama, ain't got no daddy, ain't got no uncle, ain't got no auntie, ain't got no brother, ain't got, and that's right, they don't care. And it's hard to try to reach them, to get them to understand, look, what you're doing is affecting everybody. You know, and see, everybody ain't on that though. And that's what we also should try to keep in mind, is trying to reach them in there, to try to reach them idiots who don't want to be controlled, who don't care if we go on lockdown. I don't care if we don't get no food. I don't care if we never get clean clothes. I don't care. All I care about is today. How or what I do today. If I get up tomorrow and I'm breathing, then I'm starting all over with the same shit I did yesterday. And that's the life of prison. I did 15 years in that, in Michigan City. And I was on the rec yard. I was walking on the rec yard when Aaron Nation, hey nigga, who you talking to, man? I'm talking to you. You know, and now I got to defend myself. You know, so now the next thing you know, it's a bloodbath. Prison on lockdown, ain't nothing moving, can't nobody go nowhere. Guards don't want to do their job. Why? Because you walk up to the bar, somebody throw shit on, throw piss on, throw hot water on. You know, this is the life of some of the prison guards. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to defer, because sometimes, 9 times out of 10, it is the guard. You know, because in order for you to get something in the prison, who brings it?
The guard.
In order for you to get something out of the prison, who takes it?
The guards.
You know, but the whole thing is being able to define the root of that, to get to who is on the right page and who is on the opposite page. Because like right now, here and now, we are becoming a brotherhood of protesters. So I'm going to support my brothers protesting. That's the same thing with them. You know, a right guard can see a wrong guard do something wrong, but he can't say shit because of the brotherhood. You know, so if we can break down the structure of that type with just not just the guard, But with the inmates, then it'll make it better.
I think also, with respect, we have to keep in mind though that the situation that some people find themselves in, where you're saying that maybe can't be saved, like beyond the pale, you're like too far gone, something like that. They're in that situation because of the legal system, because of the prison system. And so, not to dismiss anything you said, but it's also important to understand why people are in that situation.
See, the whole thing, because, like I'm saying, I'm talking about an individual who ran the streets for 20 to 10, 15 years before he went to prison. And from the time you're 13, 14 years old, before you pick up a gun, you got a choice. Before you run with the pack in the hood, you got a choice. Before you start picking up the rob, steal, or take, you got a choice. You know, now, some of them little dudes, it ain't been the penal system that did this to them. It's just that they didn't have no guidance. They didn't have nobody. So therefore, they ran with the pack. But without the laws of our nation, without the rules of our nation, then we're going to be a lawless country. And when it comes to that, every man for himself, that ain't good. And that's all I'm saying, that I ain't taking away from the fact that the prison, the guards, the police, they do play in a lot of this, because a bad attitude can change a whole situation, whether it's the inmate or the police, whether it's somebody that's just getting in the system or never been in the system. You know, but I'm saying this, that in order to make this effective to where that it's not assumed to be one-sided, which is really not, because you got to be able to separate the difference between the guards and the inmates who want to do right. You know, it's like we say, why should one suffer for all? But if you got somebody that comes out of their cell and they running with a clique, and then they done carve this guard up, because I done seen it happen, and then they still got members of this man's clique, they ain't in a hurry until they find out exactly who, what, when, and where, or they gonna roll them balls.
So what you're saying is during our protest, that when we make the announcements of what we protested for, that we should add in there better counseling for the inmates.
And not just the inmate, but for the guards too. Because
so we should add that in there, better counseling.
Well, that's what I said at the end when I said that it's not just you coming to work and doing your job, but it's doing the right job.
Right.
You know, see, because I could come to work and show up and do a job, but like I'm saying, when I see, and I hope you don't mind me using your situation as an example. When I see somebody in a situation where I need to hurry up and roll this motherfucking bar, excuse my expression, to get them out, I shouldn't be fearful of that.
Right.
Right.
You know, that's a human life.
Right.
But the system teaches them to be sensitive to this shit. You know, you don't know what's going on. Let's investigate first. Let's find out. It could be a trap. It could be this. It could be that. They want to go through all the check when all the time it's a simple get that man out of the cell and get him
But
out.
what men get locked up and put in that prison for is exactly what they did with Josh.
Well, that's what I was
They
gonna say.
murdered him.
You know, Josh.
So
Right.
why aren't they all behind
Right.
bars?
They allowed.
Right.
They allowed.
And look how
But
many
see,
others
that's where that brotherhood goes.
They
It had a whole range clear.
had
Back
been
up and everything
false,
and stuff.
line or whatever.
I said-
He set a guard on fire. My brother would have been in trouble. He would have got
Right.
more time. All of that. So I feel like the shoe is on the other foot. That this guard, especially this particular guard who came,
The other guards, they should be more humane to say, man, what you did was wrong.
Wrong. Exactly.
Totally wrong, man.
Exactly.
and then even after my brother's death, all the men in that prison that have suffered, I have letters from inmates saying that They still hear my brother screaming for his
Yeah,
life
my
at
son say
night.
the exact same thing.
That they can still
My son-
smell the flesh.
Yeah, right.
That they are
My son told me
traumatized
that.
Yeah.
behind
Told
hearing
me
a
that.
grown man scream for
Yeah.
his life.
Right.
No one should have to
Right.
face
Because
that.
they show
And now
you.
these men aren't getting the medical attention they need. They're getting just tossed to the side.
It's just a domino
Some of
effect.
them are now have health issues from the breathing of human flesh. You know, like it's a bigger issue. Now, okay, my brother is dead and gone now. He's gone out of there now. But now you got men in there that are suffering behind what happened to my brother.
There's no
Right.
counseling for them because my son told me that. He told me. He said,
There is
"Mama,
no counseling
he said,
for them.
Mama, I can still hear him scream. He said, Mama, it's still the smell, you know.
Yes.
And I'm like, really? And he actually,
You can't imagine. You can't imagine it.
no.
No. My heart aches for them
They
too.
said my
because they
brother
went
was
through it.
found like this, holding like he was at the lowest he could possibly be on the ground. And when they brought his body out onto the range, inmates in there described it as he looked like a hog that had been hog-tied and roasted. And that's what you drug out onto the range for everybody to see and step over his body. Like y'all didn't have no type of respect or no type
Right,
of
and
nothing for
that's
this
what
man
I'm
at all.
saying. That's the
No
type of
humanity.
shit that we need to focus on breaking down, because that's that brother with all type of governments.
Then these
That-
people, they didn't even call and tell my family.
Yeah.
Someone else, inmates, called and told my family, and when we called, they wanted to know how did we know what we knew. They would get back with us because we had false information, and then 2 hours later called back and said, yes, you're right, your son is dead, your brother is dead. We are investigating a possible suicide. Why would any man choose to burn alive by suicide?
And
You
if
know?
he was committing suicide, why he stooped down?
Right.
Why any of that?
Yeah,
Ain't
Too-
no man
it's-
gonna
there's
burn
too
himself
many-
alive.
It's too much. It's a whole lot, and then then they went to he was possibly making drugs.
And how you gonna make it in there without them supplying
It was just
everything?
they was
Right.
trying to give excuse after excuse after
That's what it
excuse
was.
after
and
excuse,
that's what the government do.
so that they could hide any type of evidence. They didn't want any investigators coming in to find out cause of fire, which the cause of fire turned out to be his television. Started sparking. And then they said because he had so much stuff in his cell, it just started catching fire. My brother, when he died, he didn't even die from a burn wound. He literally cooked from the inside out.
That's what my son said.
He cooked from the inside out.
That's crazy.
So it wasn't like he died because the fire just consumed and burnt his body. He was in a room that was so hot that his organs cooked first. So there's absolutely no reason why my brother should have died. He might have been, suffered some burns, some injuries. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever that he should have died. Screaming for over 20 minutes for his life. And then they were very careless afterwards. No signs of sympathy, remorse, nothing.
And that's what we need to take down. And not just in the prison, but police pulling people over in general. That insensitive is what gets people killed. And them, that brotherhood.
Yeah, brotherhood. But then, once you're in prison, to them, you're nobody.
Nothing.
You're
Number.
You're a
dead
number.
man
One
anyway.
day, me and my
Yes.
mom was driving to urgent care to take the baby to the doctor. Okay? We cut down 25th Street. And because we stopped at the old candy store where this man used to take my little brother and sister to school on his bus, not knowing that he had passed in the past 10 years. And that is separated. They pulled us over because we were white driving through a black neighborhood. And that's what the cop said. You're white. You got to be buying drugs. Searched the car, didn't find nothing. And I had to stay quiet, and I'm ready to do it. Because I asked the cops, so you pulled us over because we're white? But yeah, we used to live over here. It's everywhere. They put on that badge and they misuse their power. I work in property management. So I drive for property all day, every day throughout the week. That's my job. Okay? You see the police drive down the street, they'll throw on their sirens just to run a red light. I mean, but let us do that.
Yeah.
We're going to jail.
A badge and a gun makes a difference
So,
to them.
so
But it don't make no difference.
It's not-
The roads don't make it right.
No, I'm not saying it does. I'm saying that's their mentality is because they have a piece of tin on their chest and a gun that they're exempt from the law and can do what they want.
But they're not. They need to be held to
They
the
are.
same standards we
They have been exempt.
okay, so we were hoping that the next part of this event would be could be a discussion about how we can move forward and like continue to fight together against the injustices we're all talking about here. So if it's all right with everyone, first I was thinking that maybe we could just ask y'all what kind of support you're looking for, what's going on in your particular situation, and how we can help. And if there's nothing immediate, that's fine. Catch us up with what's going on. And then after that, we were hoping that maybe we could sort of maybe have a more general discussion about what we all think of as next steps. And then I think it would be really good if people who came from the same place, you know, people from Annapolis, people from Gary, people from here, wherever people are coming from, if people could get together based on where they're coming from and talk about, building support networks and organizing ourselves in our own locations. So the next time we have a protest like this, there's 300 of us. Okay. And every time we do a call-in, there's 1,000 people calling in. You know what I mean? So if that's all right with everyone.
You got like a group on Facebook?
Yeah.
Get people to join?
There are Facebook groups, and we have a Facebook page. IDFC Watch has a Facebook page, and the other victims advocacy has a Facebook page. So yeah, just don't get started if you want to tell us currently with your struggle for justice, and then we can move into a larger conversation.
Well, currently, we are fighting a lawsuit against Indiana State Prison and IDOC period for the death of my brother. Because, again, like we were just talking about, me and my family don't feel like there's any reason my brother should be dead. And just him burning alive in prison is unreal. And our family was hoping to maybe have some of the guards fired, the superintendent fired, When it's all said and done, they'll probably try to pay us enough.
You know what, dog?
I have names. I'm not allowed to disclose them due to my
Lawsuit.
lawsuit. Yeah, there's not a
No,
lot of things I
thank
can
you.
disclose because of the lawsuit. We started the lawsuit May 7th last year, immediately after, within a month after him passing away. So we just want to support anybody else. Like there have been so many people behind those walls that have helped my family, who have reached out to us. My brother was very well respected by the men inside of there. He didn't have a lot of enemies. And so now I'm not only fighting for my brother, but for anybody else in there that is suffering and going through anything that because of what they did to my brother. So, and I just want all the support. It means a lot. Thank you.
Another thing that we should do is get with the media because we can speak among ourselves, and that's fine and that's cool. But we need to get with the media and see who the channels are, and go to the townhouse meetings because I'm quite sure Michigan City have meetings, city needs. So the only way we could sit here, we could talk to each other, and blue on our face. But until we heard from inside out, there's, a lot of people need to hear this.
Well, yeah, because things have been going on inside these prisons forever.
Right.
And, bad things have been going on, but here at this particular prison, ISP, it has gotten much worse since the death of my brother. Because they're trying to keep people quiet. They don't want anybody talking.
And then a lot of the inmates are afraid to talk. They're afraid to speak up because of
They
that.
report everything.
Yes. So we are going to have to be their voice in order for them to be heard.
Right.
Because if you say something, my son been incarcerated for 15 years now. 15, I lost count. But he always, expressed to me, Mom, these young guys coming in, the young guys coming in, they look at him as old school. And, he's tried to, counsel them and everything. But they so afraid to speak out because of retaliation, either from the inmates or from the guards. Because see, if you're going to retaliate, if the inmate is going to retaliate on a guard, that's something the guard could be bringing them in drugs or money or whatever. They could bring in cell phones. So now you went and told on somebody that they profiting from. So now you get it for doing that. So we are the ones that have to speak for them because a lot of them, they just look at them and say that. And I'm not scared.
Well, no, but a lot of them aren't going to say anything because they have to live there
Live
every
there,
single
right.
day.
And once you've been there, you understand you can't say nothing, or you gotta, retaliation from either guards or inmates. And all it takes is a guard. I'm
That's why
bringing
I'm here to
stuff
be a
in for
voice
these
for my
people.
brother because they took it.
I'm gonna get them on you. You know what I mean? It's just, they say they wonder why they call it the survival of the fittest. I remember having 50-some days left, and the guards knew it. They knew that, but I had to stab a guy 6 times because it was either gonna be me or him. It shouldn't have came to that. They knew there was gonna be a problem. They did nothing about it. You can't just go tell them there's gonna be a problem. They know, but you can't say no. And it's crazy because when the investigation came down, it was like, I'm not gonna say nothing. You should have did your job. You got it on camera. Oh, it didn't matter. The cameras didn't work that day.
Yeah, it's always the cameras were broke.
Yeah, cameras were broke, but you was quick to get around the corner to try to see who was fighting.
And they can't, just for the record, the cameras don't record video, they record stock pictures. So they
But let there be an let them write you up, and they got to use that camera. They're gonna swear up and down that you're dead in the wrong, even though they might got to still of the seal being in the wrong. You're still the bad guy. That's not right.
You gotta blame it on somebody.
Those inmates are still human beings. You wonder why they come out here and they're animals. Because I'm gonna tell you now, I got locked up when I was 9 and went through the whole system. Been to almost every prison facility here in the state of Indiana. And I'm gonna tell you, coming out at 30 and not knowing shit except what I knew when I got locked up as a child, I got asked every day, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Probably go back to the same old thing. My nephew was 6 months old when I came home, and that was my opportunity to be an uncle from as close to day one as possible. At that time, I didn't know that was gonna change my life and give me a reason to find change. I had a little family support. My family didn't understand what I went through. They thought the stories I told them were bogus. It wasn't until my sister did 6 months that she finally got a glimpse of reality for an inmate in there, and how hard it is for us. Because if you ain't got money, you can't afford stamps and envelopes to write your family. You can't afford a phone call, but they want to charge you 2 arms and a leg to call your family for 5 minutes. And our families are here busting their butt just to put, $25 on the phone for two little 15-minute phone calls at most. In there, I used to tell people, I'd rather get a letter saying, fuck you, than no letter at all, because at least you took the time to say, fuck me. That means a lot. And a lot of times the guards will take our mail, rip them up, they do cell searches, you got too many pictures. Pictures that can never be replaced. Pictures of my great-grandmother who done passed. They tore those up. it's not right in there, you know. They talk about, well, we're in rehabilitation. Let's put you in this reentry program. Okay, this is what you're gonna do when you get out. You're gonna go see your parole officer. You got to get a job. You got to do this. Well, what job skills? Everything I've learned, I've had to learn out here.
And see, that's why I'm saying that during on this voyage, we need to break down all the laws, not just attack, but attack everything, so that they can't have no excuses.
They need to give a hands-on job training for other things. They're trying to do away with the barber schools. At one point, when I got out there, I was talking about getting rid of the barber program, where people were learning how to cut hair.
They got rid of a lot of programs.
But you can't do styles or nothing. Everybody out here wears a different kind of style. So what? You're only gonna learn how to do a buzz cut? I mean, I wouldn't trust you to cut my
See,
hair.
another thing.
Like
you
my
gotta
wife
keep
can do a
in
buzz
mind-
cut.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like my wife cuts my hair. You know.
Another thing you got to keep in mind is that the system, whereas it used to be about the Constitution, is
I don't know
not.
who
It's a
pressed
business.
It is.
It's a business. So, on what you're saying, if we can erupt their business, then media is gonna come here, because then, like how we was doing today, we didn't make enough noise for them to feel threatened. But we made enough noise to let them know that we ain't scared.
So when
We ain't
Aramark,
going nowhere.
when Aramark came in, the inmates used to make the food. Do you know why they said that they brought Aramark in? Because they're spending too much on the food. How much it feeds an inmate 3 square meals a day? Less than $1.99.
And it's coming out of our pocket video.
Yeah, so you went from $2.99 to $1.99. You feel you're saving money because you're spending $2.99 on each meal compared to $1.99 for 3 meals. You know, but then you're like it says, not fit for human consumption. There is no nutrition.
It legit says that on the package.
Yeah,
That is insane.
no, dead serious. You know,
That is
Sometimes
insane.
Why they do that? The food is because when
It's
when
a filler.
stuff pop off, they don't
Okay.
want you to have the energy.
it's like you go to
To be able
pantry
to
and you
fight.
get those bags of soy rice mix. It can make a big old pot with one little bag, and that's their, you know.
And then they
pay,
feed 100
what,
people off of
25
it.
cents for that bag.
Right.
They're gonna say they've charge the state $1.99 for each tray. They
That's why
make.
commissary is very important for a lot of the people there.
Right.
because
And then you're paying $1 for one ramen
Ramen
noodle.
noodles is a big,
And
big,
then you
big
gotta
thing.
get your meat and everything else out of the kitchen. If you want some meat and cheese in it.
Yeah.
So maybe, I'm wondering if anybody else who came wants to speak on their particular situation and share with the rest of us what kind of support you're looking for, something immediate that you need. Anybody wants to talk?
Not so much that I want to be like on the media. I really don't care if I'm on the media. The jobs that are in there that they have are not paying enough, obviously, okay? And then the burden is coming down onto the family, okay? And phone calls are 24 cents a minute, it's taking 24 cents a minute for them to connect. Okay? And we're being charged for every minute. And then you have Global Television that is taking more money out of the family by overcharging the inmate itself. I send my husband money every 2 weeks when I get paid to support him. When I know from him that the state is giving